So welcome everyone to Productized. As you know, I'm André Marquet. I'm the conference organizer, and I'll be moderating this panel. Hopefully, with Cláudio joining us anytime. I think it's being mic'd. So, the name of the panel is Recall the Core: Product-Led Transformation. And I know everyone's getting hungry, so I totally feel you if you have to go. But for those of you that are going to stay with us, thank you for staying a little bit longer, because we have a very high energy panel to wrap up the morning. Thank you, Cláudio. So, joining me today, I have Bruce McCarty. He has already been on stage, but if you haven't been on this stage, let me just do a quick intro. Bruce is the founder of Product Culture, a global product leadership coach, and author of Product Roadmaps Relaunched and Aligned. The book is upstairs for sale. Also, for the second time with us at Productized, the first time was back in 2019, before the pandemic, and I can assure you he was not as beefed up as he is right now. So whatever you've done through the years, you look much nicer, much better, much stronger. And next to him is Cláudio Pimentel, CIO at Cofidis Portugal, who's been leading a major digital and cultural transformation inside a financial incumbent, and someone with whom I've worked together as head of digital transformation, experimentation at Cofidis when I was still there. So great to have you both, you guys here, for the first time on stage, at least together. We had some drinks together yesterday night, and we kind of kick-started this panel informally, but let's dive in. Today, we're discussing transformation from inside out. So, Cláudio, maybe just for those that are not from Portugal, can you tell us what is Cofidis? What is the story behind its product transformation?
Yes. Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here with Bruce and with André. Well, Cofidis is a financial consumer credit company. Until 2017, we were experts in waterfall, in projects. We were named PMI of the Year in Portugal. And since 2017, we started a journey from shifting from project to product. I would like to say that we are already in the 2% that Chris spoke earlier on. But it's still a journey that we are going on. And I honestly don't think that we will ever reach point B, because point B is always getting further and further. But I think that we are on the right track of this transformation. That was not only for the digital teams, it was for all the company. Here in Portugal, we are talking around 900 people. And we wanted to have an impact, a change, a transformation in everyone in the company, not only on how we did the digital products, how we served our customers, our partners, or our colleagues.
Right. To your point, that's also very true with Bruce's talk. But you know, one of the things that I want to go with Bruce is, so you've been all across the board. You had a number of examples in your talk, all kinds of companies from startups to scale-ups, also local scale-ups like OutSystems, which are, you know, now global enterprises. But why do you think it's so hard for large organizations, especially incumbents, to become truly product-led?
It is hard. Transformation is hard. It's in the word. Mm-hmm. Transformation is change, and people don't like change. And when we're talking about moving from the project model to the product model, like you said, it seems like it's only a couple of letters, right? It shouldn't really be that different. But it's fundamentally different. It's a mindset shift, and you have to get a lot of things right to make that stick. You have to get alignment from the top to the bottom and across all the departments. I'll give you an example. I worked with this company in Idaho in the United States, and they called me in to do a roadmaps workshop, and I said, great, let's see who we're going to invite to the workshop. And they said, well, our product management team is about 15 people. And I said, well, yes, but who else are we inviting? And they didn't know what I meant. And I said, well, what about sales? What about marketing? What about finance? What about customer support? And they said, why would we bring them into a road mapping discussion? And I said, okay, we have a lot of work to do. Now, fast forward to the end, they really enjoyed doing the work together. They really felt that the roadmap that they came up with cross-functionally was far superior to anything they had done before. Unfortunately, they did not have the alignment top to bottom. The CEO did not see value in this. He thought it was a waste of time and thought everyone should go back to their jobs. And so nothing changed at that company. So they got one piece right, the cross-functional aspect that so many people have highlighted today. And they didn't get another necessary piece right, which is the top to bottom. So I think it's just that there's a long checklist of things, and those are the two most important ones, I think.
Cláudio, do you agree with that? Do you see this same kind of challenge inside your
Yes, we were lucky enough to have our CEO believed in this transformation. In fact, he was one of the leaders of this transformation. So basically, in his vision for the company was that every worker, every employee should be an entrepreneur. So that means accepting the responsibilities, being autonomous in terms of the actions, in terms of getting things done. And for us, it was the perfect alignment because that allowed us effectively to think like that, to work with the other board of directors, me and at the time my partner in crime, João, that
he was already on the stage.
That he was already here at the stage, in convincing our other board colleagues that this will be the way. It shouldn't be the board to dictate what projects we should do. It's the role of the board is to give the vision and share the vision and share what are the objectives that we want to reach. And then we need to trust the teams, not only at the digital teams, because right now every companies are digital companies. So the teams to have a clear way to know how they can contribute and what they can do. So for us, in terms of entering effectively in the part of development new products, was having these cross-functional teams that will be led by a product lead and a domain architect together with everything that comes with these people, the developers, APMs, DPMs, Q&A, engineers, to effectively contribute to our value chain in serving in a better way our customers or our partners or our colleagues. So I agree with Bruce. It's the board that at the top have the alignment, not to dictate, but to give the alignment, share the vision, sell the vision, and also to have on the other end people that are ready to take this responsibility, because it's not that obvious to change. Okay, I no longer use a Microsoft project. I use Slack, or I use it's not enough. It's on the other end. We need to meet in the middle.
So Bruce, again, you've worked with many teams trying to make this shift. Have you seen patterns or anti-patterns, but in this case patterns that you feel that you know that a company is actually changing when you see those? That is actually moving towards feature factory to product led?
I'll give you two examples. Okay. One is I was interviewing everybody in this one company where they asked me to assess how they were operating, and I'll never forget this one interview with a pretty newly minted engineering manager, and I just asked him, how is it going? And he was like, I'm so frustrated with the product team. And I said, well, okay, tell me. And he said, I think they know what they want us to build, and I just want them to tell us. Right. If you know, just write it down and we'll do it. And I had to hold my tongue and say, that's not how it's supposed to work. I tried to explain that it's actually meant to be a collaboration, and you're part of it. And that was a new concept, even to this American engineering manager, young guy, not like old-fashioned, never heard of Agile.
So that being an anti-pattern.
An anti-pattern.
Right.
So a more positive pattern is the behavior that I saw cross-functionally in Idaho. A more positive pattern is, I had another example and I forgot what it was.
No, it's while I still remember, Cláudio, have you seen any of these positive signals inside Cofidis?
Oh,
Well, there you go.
I think you'll resonate with this. The thing that I see most often that tells me it's really working is when the cross-functional product team comes back to management in a quarterly review and says, we decided not to do the thing we were originally setting out to do.
Empowered to say.
We are canceling our own initiative because we did the research and we discovered it's not going to work. It's not going to solve a customer problem. It's not going to solve a business problem. Here's what we recommend instead.
Right.
In fact, the superpower is when they said, here's what we've been doing instead. They didn't even wait for permission. Right. That is a real indication of change.
So is your team doing lots of things without your permission or without top management's permission?
It's impossible to control. Today at Cofidis we are talking about 20 teams. And each one having their own ways of working, their own chemistry, their own tribal system. Right. So effectively, for the IT perspective, it's not more. It stopped being about how we are doing. It's more in terms of giving the guardrails, the rules of engagement, and hope that everyone plays along. For us, we created a metric specifically regarding that. We call it mean time to failure in the discovery phase. So it's how long.
Mean time to failure is usually bad in terms of like uptime and things like that,
yes,
right?
but for us, it's mean time to learn.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
It's at the discovery level.
He was paying attention every morning.
It's at the discovery level that we measure what's the time for us to validate an idea.
Right.
And that's really important to measure, having ways to see the progress. Falling in the feature factory trap is very easy, specifically at the junior level teams, where they are really excited to put in practice everything that they've been learning and to develop new features. You see the roadmaps, the user stories, you'll see that they'll grow up. What you won't see is the business needle moving in a steady way in the right direction. And that's a symptom that we should be alert, because that usually means that we are not having the difficult conversations because we want to please everyone. So I'll do a little bit for André, I'll do a little bit for Bruce, I'll do a little bit for everyone, right. But the needle won't move. And that is even worse than having a waterfall approach with all specs in the beginning, because it will take even longer time to reach value. So that is one of the things that we were looking for a lot. The other anti-pattern is when you see, when you have more eyes than belly, you
have more appetite.
Yeah, and you declare to the world in these quarterly reviews that you are going to eat the world. And when you get to the end of the quarter, you see that you haven't progressed more than 20%. So that's also an anti-pattern that will put in peril the trust that the board gives you, because, okay, before we did a lot more. But it will also impact the team's morale, because they will see that we are doing a lot of things, but the end result of this quarterly review is we are not there yet. So finding this balance is also something that really is helping us.
All right, we're very close to the end of the panel, so let me just try to wrap it up with one sentence each. What's one thing you believe every organization should recode in the next 12 months if they want to stay relevant? To you, Bruce, first.
I would say set up a cross-functional team and give them a goal. That's it. Give them something to strive for that is an outcome, not be done with the project, but make a change in the world for the company. If you can set a cross-functional team to that and give them one goal, not goals for each person, that's it.
If you want to make a change, effectively, you need to have a cross-functional team, but prepare them to accept the responsibility and give them small goals and train them to receive that. Here in Portugal, we are not used to that type of responsibility. We are used to have someone telling us what to do. So here in Portugal, that is one of the biggest failures when we are talking of everything that comes from...
cultural challenge.
It's a cultural challenge. Everything that comes from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean or the Northern Europe.
I got to say, I work with companies everywhere that have that problem. It's safer to do your job, to take the JIRA ticket and complete it and check it in, right? Now I'm done. But of course, you're not done. You haven't moved the needle, as you've said.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge, is getting people comfortable with being responsible for moving the needle.
Thank you so much, Cláudio. Thank you so much, Bruce. Please, a round of applause. And yeah.